start. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another week, the DRS Real Estate Club. So now this week, we're going to be discussing real estate marketing. Last week, we discussed some differences, residential and commercial, but now let's focus on how to actually market a listing when you get one. So I just happen to be in the office right now, in the copy room, and I'm going to show you, I printed off this little piece of paper over here. So this is what a typical listing looks like when it's printed off from MLS. MLS is our multiple listings service. I'm sure that some of you have heard of Realtor.com or Zillow, Trulia, some of these websites. So when we, as realtors, as real estate agents, put up a listing on our multiple listing service, it goes out to all of these different platforms, and it allows in the area about 28,000 agents to get access to these listings as well, so they can bring their customers, their potential renters or buyers for the different properties. So this is what it looks like. I'll go into detail in another class about what some of these things mean, like how we break up the different commission splits and what's needed in order for this to be a good piece of paper, because sometimes if you do one or two things that aren't complicit with MLS, the listing won't go up. So one of the most important things is you need to have a photo. Sometimes people don't put up photos, and you can't just put stuff up on Zillow and Realtor.com without a photo there. That makes no sense. So that's one of the main ingredients when doing real estate marketing, is making sure your listing goes up on MLS, this multiple listing service that only us as agents and brokers have access to. So I'm going to show you something very interesting, and I'm going to explain some of the laws locally of what you're allowed and not allowed to do. So here I have two door hangers from Mark MJ Jarrett with Weissman Realty Group. And on the back of them, one of them is Contour Mortgage, which is my good buddy Yair Ozabel. He's a mortgage loan officer. And on this side, we have Katzman Law Firm, which is a real estate law firm. So I'm going to explain about door hangers in a second, but we know if you want to buy a house, you want to get a property, and you don't have all of that money in cash, you need to get a mortgage. So a mortgage loan officer like my friend Yair could help pre-approve and see what you'd be able to qualify for, and then go around with an agent looking for properties in that price bracket. While a real estate lawyer is a key ingredient to the closing portion of the sale. They make sure that everything goes smoothly and that there's a good transaction between the seller and the buyer in a residential, or could be in a commercial purchase. So let's get into door hangers for a second. There's different laws in different areas. I actually learned that the hard way. I put up door hangers locally near some of my listings. And in Lawrence, New York, fun fact, you're not allowed to put up door hangers by people's houses. I can't tell you about the laws elsewhere, but I could tell you in Lawrence, you're not allowed to put up door hangers. And I once did that, and I got a call, and this guy says to me, "Did you put a door hanger at my door and this address in Harborview?" And I'm like, "Yeah." "You got my door hanger?" And he's like, "You're not supposed to put up door hangers." And I'm like, "What's your address? I'll remove it." He's like, "That's not the point. You're not supposed to. I used to work in the Cedars, the Lawrence Village, blah, blah, blah. And we instituted laws before I left. And I'm like, okay, so what's your address so I could remove the door hanger? And he's like, no, I'm telling you, you could get a court summons and $1,000 fine from the Lawrence Village for putting up your door hanger on my door. And then I'm like, I'm so sorry. And then he asked me if my dad is Dr. Jarrett. And I said, yes. And he's like, oh, he's a nice man. And then just kind of blew off. So the reason why you're not allowed to put up door hangers in Lawrence is because when people are away and you leave a door hanger on their door, there's no one to get it. So it's going to sit there for days and days and sometimes weeks. So to a burglar, to a criminal, they're going to see this and be like, this house, they've had this door hanger in front for several days now. This is a good house to hit. This is a good house to rob. So for that reason, you're not allowed to put up door hangers in Lawrence. What questions do you guys have? Come on, Joe.
Why would some other places make it legal to put door handles if it's clearly not going to be beneficiary to the owner of the house?
Well, sometimes you can have a service provider in your area, and that's how they solicit, that's how they get that business, whether it's a pest control or it's your local realtor or real estate attorney, or even solar panel. I've seen people do it in many different industries, in the finance industry, people who deal with, purchasing stocks and advisors of people's money. They put out door hangers. It's something that has been done for decades, and has about a 1 or 2% success rate in people actually, calling. So I saw from actually putting out some door hangers that day, I'm not including that call where the guy was upset, but I did get a call and someone was interested in potentially selling their home. So it did work. It's a very simple thing. You just put up the door hanger and you leave. So that is definitely a worthwhile marketing tactic, to get your name at someone's house. But what this guy did tell me was, and if you put your door hanger in the mailbox, that's a federal offense. You're not allowed to do, you can't just put this in someone's mailbox. Putting it on the door is one thing. Put it in the mailbox without putting a stamp on it, without sending it to the person, that's highly illegal. So we try and do things legally here at the DRS Real Estate Club and not illegally. So that's door hangers. So that was a good question, Joe. Anyone else have any good questions? Nadav, I know you always like to ask questions.
I guess. Are those similar to like the signs that like let's say like construction companies have outside people's homes that they performed on or whatever that they worked on?
Well, there's a difference. These door hangers are just openly soliciting people I've never even met before. I personally have a tactic that when I have a listing with my sign sticking out of a door, of the front yard, after several days or a week or two, I go to all of the neighbors and I put up a door hanger. Why? Because they keep seeing the sign every day. So they're like, this is the guy who has a sign in front. Versus if you go to a random block and you put up these door hangers, chances are they're all going to get thrown out. Versus a place where they've already seen your name. You've built some credibility. Hey, I listed your neighbor's home. This is who I am. They're more likely to work with you at that point because you have to solicit, you have to get business somehow. But going on what you said about contractors, or let's just say gardeners, like irrigation, and you see these like signs that say, we do landscaping or blah, blah, blah. They generally have spoken to the homeowner. They work for them. They do their yard work. They've done their construction. And they say, hey, is it okay if we put up a sign here? Because I know you like the work that we did and we want to get more business. Is that okay? And generally they say, yeah, that's fine. It's not a problem. But you'll see in places where they have big construction and they have like all these wooden boards and stuff, you'll see a big sign, maybe the real estate company that's involved or the architect that's involved. They use that space because it's temporary and it doesn't matter. But sometimes you'll see these stick in the ground signs that stay sometimes for several weeks. And fun fact, it's illegal to pull out someone's sign in the ground. You're not legally allowed to do that. So if I decide to go to your house tonight and, stick a sign in, you're going to be in very big trouble in the dump if you take it out, okay? That sign's going to stay there until I say so. Just kidding. But I am serious. You're not allowed to pull out someone's sign out of the ground. So yeah, any other questions before I get on to open houses? Don't be shy. I'm sure you have lots of questions. Okay. So what was that? Did we have a question?
I think that was just like the echo for someone.
Oh, okay, so that was crickets. Okay, great. So let's get into open houses. So I posted on the chat before about this open house that I'm doing with my buddy Yair from Contour Mortgage. He's a mortgage loan officer. So we have the address on the front and the time, and we have some different pictures which show it off. And we open it. Dun, 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 dun. Look, it's MJ, Weissman Realty. It's so cool. So that's me over here. And then you have more pictures, says you have a video tour available. And obviously you're gonna have to write the price. So we put up the price, we crossed out the price, we put up the new price. So these are little flyers. So something like this could go into the local bulletin and go to different shuls. I posted this in the white shul on the bulletin there. I put it up by Sher Yashiv, another local shul. And if you walk into the basement of Harborview, you'll see two of these just sitting on the table right when you walk in. If anyone else has any good places you think that this would go, let me know. But there's some businesses you can go to. I know that a while back, the Woodmere Pizza Store, Pizza Payas, he had a big, huge bulletin where people would put up different things. I put this up there, but he actually recently removed it because he did some renovations. So businesses could be a good place to put up a flyer like this. Synagogues, definitely a good place. Library may actually be a good place. So that's in regards to these flyers. I would also go to the neighbors that live right next to this house that have seen the sign, knock on the door, hi, and they say, we're not buying anything. I'm not selling anything. Hi, this is MJ from Weissman Realty Group. Actually, I'm hosting an open house next door to you on Sunday. I wanted to drop off my flyer. I'd love to see you there. We're gonna have our mortgage people and our real estate attorneys. Would love for you to come down. We'll answer any questions you have. We'll possibly have donuts. And I know everyone loves donuts, so you should definitely come and then give them the flyer and then run away. So that's probably what I'm going to do. Not the runaway part, I'm gonna slowly walk away. So that's what you do with flyers. In addition to that, so we've discussed door hangers and we've discussed flyers and MLS, these little sheets of paper, which is how all of the agents in the area see the listing. There's also, what else is there? There's the newspaper. Does anyone have a newspaper that they can pull out real quick? I need someone's help.
I have one.
Which one do you have?
It says
£5 Jewish Times.
No, I think it's from the Wall Street Journal.
We can use that if no one else has a local one. Does anyone else have a local one? Okay. guess
I have a
we're gonna-
Bloomberg business.
No, that's not
real.
Okay,
I
let's
have
use
New
the
York
Wall
Times.
let's use the Wall Street Journal. So
I
in
also
the
have New York
back,
Times
are
Business.
you able to scroll to the back and there should be classified section?
I don't have the whole thing. It's like a section of it.
Well, tell me if you see the classifieds in the back.
I don't see it now.
Okay. So
Sorry.
So let me explain in newspapers. In the front of the newspaper, let's just say Five-Town Jewish Times or the Jewish Home, you can have sections of advertisers on the front. You'll see this place and this place and this place and this place, and then a bunch of other advertisers. They spend a lot of money just to have their name on the front of the newspaper. In addition to that, after you see different articles and then more one-page advertisements or half-a-page advertisements or quarter-page advertisements, there's something known as the classifieds section. Very small, maybe 3 to 5 sentences max each ad. It's in the back of the newspaper. You're going to find for rent advertisements in there, for sale. You're going to see residential, commercial, co-ops, job opportunities, and many lost and found, miscellaneous. You're going to see everything in the back over there. That's the most affordable place to at least have an ad running. Generally, they cost maybe $25 to $35 to upwards $50 a week for like a few sentences to have like your little box. So I've actually gotten results from that. We put in Rockaway Apartments, Atlantic Beach, Cedarhurst, Lawrence, and I've actually seen responses whenever someone reaches out to me. They call me, they text me, they email me. I say, hey, thanks so much for reaching out. How'd you get my number? And if they don't say, it was on your car, I say, how did you get my number? And they say, oh, we saw it in the newspaper in the classifieds section. So it's always very important to ask after you've done advertising where the consumer has seen it, so you know what's a good avenue. So I can tell you, even in today's time in 2023, the newspaper still does work. It is extremely expensive, the newspaper, but it's cheaper than being on the radio, and it's cheaper than being on television. So newspaper still works. I personally believe, we'll get into this right now, social media is the most affordable way to be seen. I had a quote that how many doors have you knocked on in your lifetime? I've knocked on millions of doors on social media. So there's only so much you can physically do using a strong network like Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, WhatsApp, YouTube, TikTok would be excellent venues, and some of them won't even cost anything. And an average that someone would spend on Facebook, let's say $10 a day, you'll get thousands and thousands, sometimes tens of thousands of impressions and views versus spending $300 a week on a full page ad in the newspaper, where someone won't really respond until the 7th or 8th time that they've seen it. Whereas on Facebook, someone can see your ad 2 or 3 times in a day. What questions do you guys have on that? Come on, bring it.
How is someone supposed to advertise on, let's say, Instagram if they don't have so many followers, you know?
Speaky, nice question. Nice question. So I don't have a lot of followers on Instagram. I think I have about 37 followers. I have just 2 more than the DRS Real Estate Club. But I can tell you there's different ways to advertise on Instagram without advertising on Instagram. So we all know you can make a post on Instagram. That doesn't cost anything. You can put up a story. But the paid advertising, which means when you're scrolling on Instagram, you see DRS Real Estate Club, Weissman Realty, MJ the Realtor, then boom, DRS, snacks or something. Some advertisement from DRS. They're trying to sell snacks. Great. After every few accounts that you're following, you're going to see an ad pop up. That's called a sponsored ad. You can have a Facebook page. So DRS Snacks could have their own business Facebook page, and they could run ads to Instagram, by the way, without even having an Instagram account, because Facebook and Instagram is interconnected. So they don't even need to have an Instagram account, and they could reach out to users on Facebook and on Instagram on their channel just by spending money on Facebook. And you can start with 0 followers. You can have 1 follower, it doesn't matter. And you can start advertising with as little as like $5 or $10 a day. You just need to have either a photo or a video, and you're ready to go. Great question, Sviki. Anyone else have questions on maybe specific platforms, which ones would be best for different types of real estate?
You mentioned last time that Twitter is usually the best platform to reach out to customers, but do you think is it better if you like hire a professional to do it? Like a realtor for you, for example, you're not a marketing expert, or I'm not sure if you are, but is it better if you hire someone to do it for you and have like a team, or like you hire a company to do it for you, or you rather do it yourself and spend time on it?
So that's a very open-ended question I can speak about for an hour, which I'm not going to do. In a boutique brokerage such as Weissman Realty, they're lucky to have an in-house marketer who happens to be their realtor. So they get the best bang for their buck because I'm in-house, I'm here, and I'm running my own ads while I'm running their ads for their agents. Otherwise, it would be extremely costly. There are brokerages such as Remax or Berkshire Hathaway that have, in Century 21, that have huge pockets, a lot of agents there, and they would spend $50, $100, $120,000 a year to have someone like me just sit in the office and run ads all day. If you are a boutique brokerage with 2 or 3 agents, you don't have a big office, you can't afford that. And if you are a agent working with a virtual brokerage with little to no expenses, such as eXp Realty, which I'm sure some of you have heard of before, they don't have a physical office. They have hundreds of thousands of agents, I believe at this point are 80 or 100,000 agents. And what they do is you have each of these agents running their own ads, but they don't actually have a good amount of money, because if they're starting out, what budget do they have? You need to have a brokerage help sponsor some of those costs so you can grow. Because an agent's going to be like, I spent $20 for 5 days. I didn't really get a result. I'll tell you, I have a broker that I worked with in Canada, because before I became a realtor, I worked with several dozen realtors on their marketing, on their photography, on their videos. And I had one, Danielle Belinsky, near Edmonton. I'm blanking on the exact name. I'm sorry, in Drayton Valley. Who knew? Drayton Valley in Alberta. And she had me go down. I traveled about an hour and a half to do some drone shots and drone video of her acreage. So an acreage means this isn't your typical little house, 10,000 square feet. We're talking about you have multiple acres of property. And we know 1 acre is 43,560 square feet. So imagine that times 5 or 10 or 20. This is ginormous. So I took out my drone there. I filmed it. She used that, and she ended up actually selling the property for over $1 million because of my footage. She said to me, Mark, I'm letting you know, I'm giving you a good review. Because of your drone video, I got a buyer. They saw the video, like, wow, this is amazing. I want to see it. And then they ended up purchasing. What I then asked her was, how did you market it? And she said, I had it on Facebook. It was on and off for about 10 to 12 months. I was running the advertising. And I said, Danielle, please, 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 I need to know, how much money did you spend to advertise this listing to get that buyer? She said, I spent about $3,000. So $3,000 got her $1 million acreage for sale, and give or take, if she got, I don't know, 3 or 4%, I don't know the exact numbers it was in Canada, but if she got a $40,000 or $50,000 commission, $3,000 is just the cost of doing business. And it sits with me to this day that that's how much it costs to sell a property. So a newer agent or a less experienced agent doesn't have $3,000 to spend on their marketing. But a brokerage that has that type of money saved up and could afford to invest that in a listing where they'll make on the commission, they're able to do that. But that's kind of the cost. So yeah, pretty much most platforms, in order to sell a property, you're gonna have to spend about $3,000.
I mean, unless if you take like a big company that have their own marketing team and like a whole group for that, so it's already in their payroll.
Yeah, and again, if they're a big company like a Remax, are they Remax in Brooklyn? Are they Remax in Queens? Is it the Remax in Chicago or wherever their main quarters that's really running all of the marketing? It's very different. We discussed franchises before, and they're very complex how they run. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I did actually do some consulting for a franchise in Canada. And it was very interesting how they ran their marketing for all of their different franchisees. And I did not like it at all. So it was very unique. You need to have specific marketing for your location. Every agent is different. Every brokerage is different. Everyone has different marketing tactics. Whether your real estate marketing is, door hangers, or it's smaller door hangers, or it's brochures, or it's your MLS, which is the key ingredient to getting other agents bring you people. It can be social media marketing. It could be the newspaper. It can be the radio. It could be on television. It could be on different apps. You can see people advertising and spending money on Zillow. I know that if you want to spend money on Zillow, you can reach specific zip codes. So I can pay a premium to Zillow to have the zip code 11559. And then every time someone searches 11559 and they're contacting Zillow gives them my phone number. And every caller that comes in, I spend $50 or $100, which I think is a crazy amount of money. But if it converts, then it's well worth it. But we know that Zillow is a very congested area. Everyone's like investing and putting money into that, so it's very difficult to stand out. I still feel social media, you do a good job on there. You don't need to spend a lot, and a lot of people will see you. And like I said before, advertising on a car. You only do it once, it gets seen. As Joe can say, he always sees my car and then smiles at it, even when I'm not there. Any other questions? I'm sure that you guys have some questions. Come on, bring it.
Me again. What is the best way to advertise and marketing? Like on social media, on door hangers, cars. So that's worth spending your money.
I left out another key thing, postcards. So in our office, we've had different agents send out postcards. direct mailing, which means sending it directly to someone's mailbox, is very good. There's about a 2 to 4% success rate, but it's very expensive. You can spend 75 cents to $1 plus the materials per mail out. So if you're sending out 500 cards, it's going to cost you at least $1,000 to $2,000.
Right. So what's the best like balance of spend and gain?
You need to see what works for you in your area. Social media across the board is the best thing to do because it's not very expensive, it's cost effective, and you are guaranteed that people will see it. When you send something in the mail, it's not guaranteed it's even going to be opened. I know that I sent out envelopes to different expired listings. That means listings that this piece of paper, but it said it's February 26th. It expired. That means I can try and get the property for my brokerage. And you know what? I had some that were returned to sender because the address, I guess, didn't work anymore. So it's not guaranteed it's going to go out. You put something out on social media, it's guaranteed to be seen. There's no possible way your ad will not be seen if you spend money on the advertisement. You spend money in the newspaper, I can almost guarantee you it's not going to be seen until the 7th or 8th time. You spend money on a radio ad, until the 10th time maybe they've heard your ad running over and over again. They don't trust you. Social media, there's this instant bond. This person's on social media, they're real. That's the belief. So I definitely have seen, even what I shared last week with my the property in Wanta, I got that on Facebook. I reached out, did not cost me a penny. I went on to Facebook Marketplace. I typed in for sale by owner, and there was someone trying to sell her home, and she owed more money on the home than what it was worth. And that's how I brought in that first deal.
My last question of the night. Are you advertising for JetBlue right now, or it's just fashion style?
So that's a good question. For those who didn't know, there's like been a lot of hawk with JetBlue that they're not very good. Like they're hanging up on people and different things. So someone asked me today, he's like, "Oh, do you work for JetBlue?" And I said, "No." He says, "Oh, my son, the JetBlue was causing him problems." I'm like, you know what this hat is for? It's so if I go in, they're not meaner to me than they are to you. This is just like a security blanket. I'm wearing a JetBlue hat. This guy, he's okay. He's okay. He can get through. But yeah, you can order it on the JetBlue.com store, or you can order this one signed by MJ the Realtor. It will only be $50. And there's only one, so any takers? Probably not, because it was worn by me. So next week, let's try and have a break because of the holiday of Purim, where we all dress up. I'm already dressed up as a JetBlue employee who's on break. But we should hopefully the following week, we should hopefully meet again. Maybe come up with a good topic, a newer topic. Maybe we'll do drones and photography and show off different things of that scale. Thanks again so much for showing up, for giving it your all, and asking questions, because that's always the most important. So we have about 3 minutes left. So now would be a good time to ask any questions. If you have any.
I have a question, but it's for mostly for like Joe Gamerman and Sviki Rosner and Zach Pakris, and I guess you who
That's fine. I'll put myself on mute.
So would you guys, you said you were not doing something next week because of Purim.
Correct.
I was wondering if you would be able to make an exception to do a collab with the Space Club.
Ooh, some octopus over here. So it's very enticing.
To be honest, we wouldn't really be doing anything. We would just be on a Zoom for like 15 minutes.
Yeah, I will consider it. I'll speak with you in person tomorrow.
And if MJ isn't available, so I guess that isn't ideal, but the show must go on,
Agreed. We'll see what we can do about that, Schaffler.
Okay. Sounds
Okay.
good to me.
Anyone else has any questions to me or to MJ? Anything? Okay. Well, thank you all for coming. I guess we might or might not see you next week. And if not, have a good day. Good night.
Thank you.